Welcome back to the Halloween playlist. Guys, this is the fourth consecutive year I've been talking about all things Halloween movies, all things scary movies, all throughout the month of October. This is only movie number 2 out of 14 that we're going to be discussing this year. This past Sunday, I've already covered the classic Dracula film. That is a very, very, very fun movie that I highly recommend you guys look at. But for the third straight year, the Frankenstein IP is being represented on my Halloween special. But I'm doing something a little bit different this time. We're looking at Mel Brooks' Young Frankenstein from 1974. Oh wait, no, scratch that. I'm sorry. Young Frankenstein. Yeah, so this is yet another one of those Mel Brooks, Gene Wilder collaborations after the producers, and I want to say Blazing Saddles came out before this. I could be very wrong on that, but this is, in my opinion, my favorite of the Mel Brooks, Gene Wilder team-ups. The late, great Gene Wilder plays the grandson of the famous Dr. Victor Frankenstein, who, you all know what he did. And Frederick is a biology professor at a New York university, and he is fascinated by the human brain. You know what else he is? He is embarrassed to be his grandfather's grandson. So much so that he insists on having his last name pronounced in a different way.
My name, it's pronounced Frankenstein.
But when a mysterious man comes over to reveal the details of his grandfather's last will and testament, Frederick gets roped into the family business in Transylvania. He meets up with the grandson of his grandfather's assistant. And well, you kind of know the drill. Frederick goes deranged and he creates a monster of his own. And all of it happens with that classic Mel Brooks flair. That is, if you can call it flair. Mel Brooks likes to make, oh man, like this film is just like, if you've never seen this movie, I don't know if I want to spoil too much because I don't know if I want to spoil the laughing fit you guys are going to have. But let me tell you this much. When Young Frankenstein goes for it, it goes for it. First of all, I give this movie massive credit for really paying great tribute to the original Frankenstein from the 30s, and it's drawing all the jokes that it can out of this classic material. The aesthetic of this movie really makes you feel like you're watching something from the 30s. I'm talking about the direction. I'm talking about Gerald Hirschfeld's cinematography, the canted angles, the black and white. Oh my god, I love me some black and white. And of course, you have the classic musical score from John Morris, which has since become a huge YouTube meme with the dramatic chipmunk stuff. You know, the bam, bam, bam. Except it's just showing you the castle and, you know, it's like, oh, he's here. He's at his grandfather's domain. And you know, like, just sitting through this movie, and it always flies by. Like, that's the thing. You are so entertained by Young Frankenstein that you just, like, you forget that you're watching a movie sometimes. Because even though there's a lot of dialogue in here that is completely ridiculous and over the top, with loads of really raunchy comedy thrown into the mix, like, holy cannoli. Like, this is what cinema is all about, really. Young Frankenstein is just pure, gothic, funny entertainment. And even though Gene Wilder, rest in peace, is gonna be Willy Wonka to me forever, there's a part of me that thinks this performance is even better in Young Frankenstein. Because even though Willy Wonka himself was pretty damn deranged, it feels like the stuff that he has as Frederick, he was holding a lot of that back on set during the Chocolate Factory shooting. The only time Wonka himself can really go full enigmatic, terrorizing, like he's screaming at the top of his lungs, yes! The only time he was allowed to do that was the nostalgic and scary Tunnel from Hell sequence. Here he is, and he is just like, it is unbridled passion throughout the entirety of this film. Even when he's talking in that enigmatic, calm Gene Wilder style of delivery, like, you're still unsettled by this guy. Destiny! It's my destiny! And my god, this guy had me laughing, especially through that entire opening sequence where he's talking to his college students about the brain. And the whole demonstration, it's just the perfect character introduction. There are so many classic performances in here. I love Marty Feldman as Igor. And the way he looks at his master is so unsettling in its own right as well. Teri Garr as Inga is very funny, playing off of Gene Wilder's mannerisms. You have Kenneth Mars, the voice of the original King Triton from The Little Mermaid, as Inspector Kemp. He's got an eye patch, he's got one wooden arm and one wooden leg that the original monster took away from him. The sound design with his character is brilliant as well. Unless I forget the legendary Cloris Leachman as Frau Blucher. Blucher. You have Madeline Kahn as Frederick's fiancée, Elizabeth. And yeah, her performance is definitely a Mel Brooks written performance. When she's seeing him off on the train station, sending him back to Transylvania, that is a Mel Brooks scene. Like, you can just tell. Last but certainly not least, you have Peter Boyle as the monster. Yeah, this is a very fun performance. And that leads me into probably my favorite scene in the entire movie, when Frederick is displaying the monster and how gentle he is, plus how refined he is. They literally just get up on stage in front of these scientists and they do a whole musical number.
Where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits?
Putting on the Ritz! It's childish, but that will kill me every time. So yeah, in case you haven't guessed by now, I really love this movie. It is so entertaining. I try and watch it at least once a year around this time, Halloween, because, like, you just can't help but be entertained by it. It is so freaking fun. Now, I do have one little issue with Young Frankenstein looking back on it. The whole storyline and the resolution with the Elizabeth character seems a little bit far-fetched. And it's kind of uncomfortable if you really think about it. Like, there's days where I'll be showing this to some of my friends and they'll come across that scene that I'm thinking of and they can't help but laugh at it. But the majority of the time now, it's like we look at it and like, why? Why does A and B need to happen so that X, Y, and Z occurs at the end of the film? And again, if you've never seen Young Frankenstein, don't want to spoil the gigantic conclusion that this comes to. No pun intended. But I don't know. Personally, that part of the storyline just never really worked for me in terms of, like, the overall, like, did it really need to be there? Like, I know it's a parody and we shouldn't be taking it seriously, but if you're watching that little sequence, it can kind of make you uncomfortable. But if you look past that, this is a damn fun time, and I highly recommend, if you've never seen it, like, get on it. I'm gonna give Young Frankenstein an A. I'm sorry. Young Frankenstein gets an A. What else more can I say, guys? It's a classic Mel Brooks romp. It's something that he himself is still very proud of to this very day. Mel Brooks has called it maybe not his funniest adaptation he's ever put on, but he calls it his finest. And when a director is that proud of a product, you can tell how good it is. But let me know what you thought of Young Frankenstein down in the comments section below. What is your favorite Mel Brooks project that's been put out there? Is it this one? Is it The Producers? Is it something else like Blazing Saddles? Guys, I'm talking all things scary movies throughout the month of October, in addition to keeping up with the new releases that are hitting in theaters. So do consider subscribing, joining the family today. Hit that thumbs up. It's a great community over here. Y'all are invited to the party. And guys, stay tuned for more videos very soon. I'm very, very excited to announce that my next entry in this year's playlist, we're going to go back to some of my old reliable. We're going to get some Tim Burton movies involved in this playlist. I've been wanting to talk more about Tim Burton anyway, so we're going to add Sleepy Hollow to this year's playlist. I'm so excited to look back at that movie with you guys. I think it's pretty underrated in terms of his filmography, so lots that we can discuss over there. Much, much more to come. Y'all are the best. And with all that being said, Back Talk commence.